everybody, my name's Christy and welcome to a new series that I'm really excited to do. It's a request series, so it's a follower's request. If you're following me and you have a request for a specific kind of workout or a specific kind of video for this entire 6 days of this week, I'm going to make a video on requests from people who are following me. So today somebody requested that I make a video for her. She can't do lunges without her knee dislocating, which is so incredibly painful sounding and scary too. So I was really excited to make a leg workout, a lower body workout for her that did not include lunges. If you have a request like this, then put it down below, and either this week or next month when I do a week of request workouts or request videos again, then I will do it then. So please let me know, but let's get into this workout. It's a lower body workout and there are absolutely no lunges. So let's get into this. So we're gonna start out with a narrow squat. Now, 1, 2, 3. So 3 of the moves out of the 4 moves are a form of a squat, because when it comes down to it, you pretty much have 3 basic moves that work into working your legs. You have squats, lunges, well, really 4, deadlifts, and then a bridge. So today, we're gonna start out by doing a narrow squat. So if you have weights, you can pick up your weights and you can use them, but I'm gonna show you how to do it without the weight first. And then just think of how you can just hold the weights at your sides or up by your shoulders while you do the squat. So a narrow squat means that you pull your feet together as close as you can get them, but comfortably. And why I say this is if you look it up in a textbook for a narrow squat, it says put your feet together. But when I do this, my thighs touch from here on the way up. So as I am squeezing up, my thighs kind of get in the way of me doing this move. And if you are someone who has thicker thighs than me, and I understand a lot of people probably do, hashtag thick thighs save lives, right ladies? I don't want you to not get the most out of this move just because you've been told to put your feet together. Instead, I want you to put your legs together where your thighs might be touching, but you can still get a full range of motion out of this move. So just kind of feel it out. Don't worry to mess up a little bit, because it's not a huge deal, but I did just want to mention that a lot of moves that are made often don't keep larger bodies in mind, and I think that that's very unfortunate. So we're gonna start out with a narrow squat. So put your feet pretty close together, maybe touching if that's comfortable for you, or maybe not touching for you. It might be even this far, but you don't want your legs to come past your hips because it's a narrow squat. So I would say don't put your feet more than a foot apart, okay? So try to put your feet as close as you can together comfortably, and then you're just gonna squat back, squeeze your abdomen, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your leg muscles, and come up. And make it a very powerful movement as you come up. So again, if your feet are pretty close together, you're squatting down, you're not leaning forward, your weight is not in your toes, your weight is in your heels. So if you wanted to, you could pull your toes off the ground. Now I don't want you to actually do that while you're performing the move, but I want you to see if you could do it, because that's gonna show you that your weight is in your heels. But I want you instead to really screw your feet into the ground, spread your toes, ground yourself into the ground, and then core tight, glutes engaged. I want you to squat down, squeeze, 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 come up, and really power up as you come up, and then go back down, and then come up. Now, depending on your flexibility, you might be able to go down pretty low into this, but I don't want you to force yourself to do that if it's gonna be hurting your knees. Especially if you have a lot of knee pain, I just want you to go down a little bit, squeeze, come up. Go down a little bit, squeeze, come up, really having your feet really nice and planted, but you're pushing through your heels, not your toes, okay? So that's the narrow squat. Next, we're going to do a sumo squat. So for the narrow squat, your feet were either touching or almost touching. For the sumo squat, you're going the opposite direction. You're trying to get your legs pretty far out, and your toes are pointed out. So in a normal squat, your toes would be pointed forward, but now you want to turn them out. So make sure that your feet don't have to be way out here, okay? They just need to be outside of your hips. So if your hips are right here, then outside of your hips would be somewhere here. again, don't worry too much about getting this perfect. Just try it, trial and error, but just be gentle with your body so you don't cause any further injuries, right? So we're gonna try to stand up nice and tall. Core is tight, pubic bone to nose. What I mean by that is you're not arching your back. So you're pulling that pubic bone to your nose. And this is creating a nice stacked, straight line of all your joints stacked on top of one another, which is gonna keep you strong and secure so that you're not injuring your back, you're not injuring your core. I had somebody request that I do a workout about cores that have had trauma done to them, like C-section. Sometimes just giving birth can be very traumatizing to your core. So if you are somebody who might be interested in that workout, which I hopefully will get to do tomorrow, then I want you to really pull your core in tight, pubic bone to nose. That's creating a nice stacked body, okay? So, stacked body, your toes pointing out. Then I want you to put your hands here at your chest. And this is just kind of a prompt to help you to think of standing up tall. And then I want you to squat down. But notice I'm not leaning forward as I squat down. I'm trying to squat straight down. Now, because of how your body is made, you're gonna go forward a little bit, but I want you to focus on trying to keep your body upright. You see how my shoulders aren't going forward a whole lot? Instead, I'm trying to stay as upright as I possibly can, okay? Something else you want to do is push your knees out to be pointing in the same direction as your toes. Often I will see people trying to squat like this with their knees pointing forward, but their toes are pointing out. This is gonna hurt your ankle. See how my ankle is turned here? This can hurt my knees a lot, and it's also not working your quads. I want you to be working your quadriceps. If you can't do a lunge, it's very, very likely that your quadriceps are not very strong, and you need to have strong quadriceps to protect your knees, to keep them from popping out of socket. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to keep it always from popping out of socket, but hopefully just in your day-to-day life, as your quads become a little bit stronger, it will protect and support your knee, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's not Shannon's fault that her knee pops out of joint, but there are things that she can do and that you can do and that I can do to help support our knees in whatever state they are, okay? So again, squatting down, knees pointed out, core is tight, chest is up, pointing out towards the front. We're gonna squat down as low as we can and then come up. Squat down as low as we can and then come back up. So for you, that might be that your pelvic floor is parallel with your kneecaps, or that it might be that you come down an inch and then come back up. Just bending your knees and coming back up. Now, if you find with this move that you're a little off balance, because usually we're not just standing around like this, right? What I want you to do is to put a chair in front of you and to do the squat this way. But this way, you're not worried about falling forward or backward because you have this chair supporting you. Next, we are going to do, move that out of the way, a side elevated squat. So with this, I'm just going to use this ledge here that I have because it's about, I'd say about a foot tall, not super tall. You can use a chair if you want, but in my opinion, that's a little bit too high. So you want anything from about 6 inches to a foot high. Maybe the edge of your couch. You might be surprised at how low your couch is. Or what you could just do is get a stack of books, push them against a wall to keep them secure, and use that for this. But you're just going to do a squat, but you're going to put 1 foot up. So you have 1 foot up like this, 1 foot out, and you're just going to squat. So your legs are pretty far apart, but your toes are pointed forward, and you're squatting down and coming up. And what this is doing is this is keeping your knees in that frontal, in physical training, we call this the frontal plane, right? We're keeping your knee pointing forward so that you're not hurting yourself by going like into a lunge, but you're not, but you're able to exercise your quads a little bit more because this leg is the leg that's doing all the work. So you're squatting down and coming up, but this leg up here, not doing much. This leg down here, it's getting a lot more weight. It's doing a lot more work, but I want you to be very, very careful to not let this knee cave in because it's gonna have a lot less support because all of your weight is on this leg. So if you can have a camera or have a mirror, or even like a reflective, like this glass kind of reflects a little bit and I can see myself in it, just to make sure that your knee isn't caving in. So you're not doing this or this with your knee pointing out. I want your knee pointing straight forward. I want your toes pointing straight forward. All your weight is in this leg as you go down and up. And again, if you feel like you're losing your balance, or even if it's the first time that you're doing it and you're afraid of losing your balance, I want you to have a chair or a wall nearby and to squat and to stand up. With that chair as support, you don't have to even hold on to it, but just to have it there if you feel a little uneasy with this move, because I understand it's a little weird. You're shifting levels. So then after you do 10 reps on one leg, then I want you to switch around and do it on the other side, okay? After that, we're going to do a bridge. So I honestly don't like bridges personally that much, but they do good work for your glutes and for your hamstrings. I just find that for me, I'd rather do a lunge or a deadlift. But if you are somebody who maybe has an injury and you can't do lunges, you don't have a lot of variety, then I would say it's very important to do bridges, because it's keeping a variety in your lower body work so that you're not missing out on your muscles being able to have well-rounded strength. So you've probably done a glute bridge before at some point in your life, but I'm just gonna go over some basic form. So I want you to lay down. I want you to pull your heels as close to your butt as you can get them comfortably. So you're not like straining or pulling anything, but your heels are pretty close to your butt. And then I want you to engage your core. And by that I mean clench your abs and pull your belly button to your spine, pull your pubic bone to your nose. Again, that's kind of helping all those joints support one another. And then you're gonna push off your heels, not off your toes, off your heels. You're gonna push up, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your hamstrings. Try to press your hips up and see how high you can get your hips up into the air. So almost like you're arching your back a little bit. Core tight, and then come back down. Now, a lot of times I'll see people when they're doing glute bridges is they'll power up and then they'll just drop. And you see how when I dropped, I just kind of like shook a little bit and just kind of hit the ground? That's not good for your body, just to randomly let your body drop. When it comes to any kind of strength training, you really want to be paying attention to what your body is doing and controlling the movement, no matter what that movement is, even if it's going down. So I want you to control the movement up by squeezing your glutes and pushing through your heels, and then control the movement down by continuing to squeeze your glutes as you go back down. So don't release, once you go up here, don't release your glutes and just drop. I want you to hold on to that tension in your glutes as you go all the way back down, and then come back up again and go back down. Now when you come back down, I want you to make sure that you're keeping your core engaged. It's very natural once you come back down to just let it all loose, but I want you to keep that core engaged, because you are using your core in this movement, and it's going to help support your whole entire body if you're keeping that core tight. And a lot of the times on leg day is when we'll find the next day after that, we're like, oh, my back aches. And it's because these muscles are all connected to your lower back. So it's really, really important that you are engaging your core to protect that lower back. So that's the entire workout. It would be great if you would repeat that 3 to 4 times. It depends on your exercise level. If you want to, you can add weights. You can either hold the weights at your sides or hold them at your chest. For most of those moves, and of course for the bridges, you would want to place it on top of your hips. Often what I'll do is I'll put a blanket or like an old t-shirt or something across my hips, just so my hip bones are protected, because at that angle, it can really hurt your hip bones, just the weight sitting on your hips. But besides that, that is the entire workout. I'm really excited about this particular series because I really have a heart for people who need very specific things for their exercise programs and for their life, just because for different times of my life I've needed very, very specific things that programs that were great but very broad really wouldn't cover. So I'm really excited about this. If you have any special requests, please leave them in the comments below, or on Instagram, please tag me with your requests. I would love to do them. I'm gonna try to do this once a month, just have a week of follower requests. So let me know what you'd like to see, and I will try to fit that in somewhere.